The first time I walked into Michael's company, I thought I would see the work scene of a busy, mature, and trustworthy man. What I didn't expect to see was the beginning of a split marriage. The sun was bright that afternoon, as if it were deliberately showing people something they shouldn't see. I walked into the lobby on the first floor of the company, and the girl at the front desk looked up and saw me, showing a smile that was standard to almost etiquette class. "Hello, I'm looking for Michael." I kept a gentle tone, a habit formed after marriage, as if to prove that I was a decent wife at any time. "And you are?" She was polite and professional. "I am his wife." I said it very lightly, but it was like a stone falling in the hall. The front desk's eyes lit up, and it was clear that the word wife was more interesting to her than visitor. "Oh, Mr. Stone is in the sales department on the 23rd floor. I'll give you a call." "No need." I gently interrupted. "I want to surprise him." When the elevator rose, I watched the numbers keep beating, and I felt a little tight, inexplicably that kind of tight, not afraid of what he was hiding. A woman's premonition. I don't know where that hunch came from, but in retrospect, perhaps at that moment I perceived, Michael is changing. The door on the 23rd floor opened. The large open office is filled with the sound of keyboards, telephones, and conversations. The air is mixed with the smell of coffee, printers, and people. I saw Michael in the crowd. He was standing by the window, side by side with a young girl. The two were too close. Close to like a pair of breath-intertwined lovers. I only looked at the girl's face. In his early 20s, in a red dress, with soft hair hanging down over his shoulders, his eyes looking at Michael as bright as if he had just learned to fall in love. And Michael, the way he looked at her I had never seen before. Not the way a husband looks at his wife. It's the way men look at people they like. When they saw me at the same time, their bodies paused as if they had been hit by an electric current. "Sophia?" Michael almost bounced up, the moment of panic floating on his face, too fast to hide. "Why are you here?" I smiled naturally, even more gently than usual. "I want to see what my husband's office looks like." My eyes fell down his shoulder to the girl. This is Emma." He quickly introduced, speaking as fast as he was afraid of my misunderstanding. "Newcomer from the same department." Emma stood timidly, like a trapped animal. I held out my hand to her. "Hello, I'm Mr. Stone's wife." She hesitated for half a second before reaching out to hold mine. Palm cold, slightly trembling. "Hi, Sophia." She didn't even dare to look up. Michael quickly added, "Emma works very hard and is already a new star in our department." "Is it?" I said lightly. "That's great." I swept her up and down. "The red dress. I've seen it. That's the same one I saw a girl wear in the hotel lobby a few weeks ago. She had a necklace around her neck. Silver chain, thin, unique pendant. Michael once said, 'This one belongs to you.' Now it's hanging around someone else's neck." My fingertips shook insignificantly in the air. She noticed my gaze and subconsciously reached over the pendant. The action is light, but like a dull knife slowly inserted into the heart. "Michael's been busy lately, hasn't he?" I asked, with a light tone as if I was chatting. Emma swallowed. "He? Very dedicated. When there is a project, we will work overtime together." Every word is like a hard squeeze from the throat. "Sounds pretty hard," I said. Michael immediately interrupted. "Sophia, shall we go to my office and talk?" I nodded. Good. The moment he almost escorted me away from Emma and closed the office door, the expression on his face collapsed in an instant. "Why did you suddenly come here today?" His tone was tight, like he was stuck by something. "Why can't I come?" I asked rhetorically. "Not that, I just... accident." I looked into his eyes that didn't dare to look me in the eye. There are dodges, guilty hearts, panic, a little fear. "The little girl named Emma looks quite young," I said. "Well, just graduated. She's pretty." "Not bad, I didn't notice." Another lie. If he really wasn't paying attention, how did the necklace end up around her neck? I suddenly feel that the sentence "surprise visit class," in fact, is not a surprise. It was fate tearing open a curtain and forcing me to see what was hidden behind it. "Michael," I asked softly, Have you really been so busy lately? Yes, the company has many projects. I smiled. Then I will not disturb your work. You did not disturb me. You can come at any time. I stared at his trembling fingers. That's the rhythm of panic. It is the rhythm of fear of being exposed. I didn't go further, just said, then I'll go first. Don't you need me to send you? No need. I know the way. As the elevator descended, I looked at myself in the mirror. In the return elevator, I repeatedly played back the picture-red dress, necklace, flustered eyes, shaking hands. When I got home from the office, my smile became calmer and calmer. Not to give up is to see the truth. When I got home, I opened my notebook and began to write down a line of words. Time, place, information, unusual behavior. If they want to act, then I'll take the director's chair. That night, Michael came home early for the first time. During the meal, he asked me as if nothing had happened. What do you think of the company? Very good. Colleagues are also very friendly. I said, especially Emma. His chopstick-holding hand paused. In the next few days, he suddenly rules a lot. Don't come back late. Don't socialize. Don't work overtime. Don't say unclear phone calls. Don't disappear mysteriously. Behave as clean as a fear of leaving fingerprints. I know. This is not repentance. It's hibernation. The crack appeared Friday afternoon. I left work early and saw a familiar figure when I was shopping in the supermarket. Emma. The shopping cart is full of daily necessities, as well as men's razors, facial cleansers, socks, underwear. When she saw me, she was caught red-handed and speechless. Who are these? I asked. My brother. Her voice trembled. I checked her file. Only child. Good. I whispered, my brother, who has a sister to help buy underwear. She was red-faced, flustered, and incoherent. When I went around the other aisle to secretly observe, she hurriedly put all the men's articles back in place, arguing with someone on the phone, panicking, and whispered for stability. I don't have to listen to know who I'm calling. Michael. That night, I told my friend Jenny what I saw. Jenny was so angry that she patted the table. Dare to buy men's underwear? This is not half cohabitation, it is obvious. I held a cup and said only one thing. It's time to close the net. The next day, Michael said he was going to work overtime. I did not break down, nor did I follow. I did something he would never have expected. Call Emma directly. She was so scared that her voice changed. You? Why do you have my phone? I forgot to ask yesterday, so I asked Mike for it. My tone was gentle, as if I were coaxing a child. When I asked her where Mike was today, she faltered, couldn't explain or explain. The more nervous, the harder it is to act. After I hung up, I drove to her apartment. This time, there is no cover. The moment she opened the door, her face seemed to be drained of all blood. Let's talk, I said. She tried to block, but I gently pushed her away. The room was neat and exquisite, with 2 pairs of slippers, 2 cups, and a man's coat. Whose coat? I asked. My boyfriend's. She bit her lip. What's your boyfriend's name? She is silent. I looked at her, calm. Because I suspect your boyfriend is my husband. The bomb landed. Emma collapsed, crying, tears like broken beads. Sophia, I didn't mean it, he chased me first. I didn't want to be a little 3. I didn't comfort her. Did he tell you that he is getting married tomorrow? He says he doesn't love you. It was forced by the family. Said when the time is ripe we'll divorce you. Every word is like a knife. You believe it? I asked. She cried. He said very sincerely. He told me last night that he wanted a child. I said. Emma froze. For the first time, she saw a corner of the truth. Sophia? What should I do now? A few seconds of silence, I said. Very simple. Leave him. I can't do it. Why? She put her hand on her lower abdomen. Because I'm pregnant. The air is completely solidified. 2 months. Which is before we got married. Does Michael know? I asked. She nodded. He said, let me not say it first. He said to take care of your side.
Processing.
I'm his wife, not his mission. He wants me to be quietly pushed out of my life without knowing it. I stood up, my back like a taut arc. Good gathering and good separation? I whispered. Then we'll see. When I left Emma's apartment, the sun was piercing my eyes. Her cries are still in her ears, the side echoed, but I did not look back. I don't need her apologies. I don't need her tears. What I need is the truth. And a self-directed ending. Sitting in the car, I did not immediately start, but quietly holding the steering wheel, let everything just slowly precipitation. 2 months pregnant. A month before we got married. He knew, but never said. I also intend to deal with me. I took a deep breath and pressed the stinging air back into my chest. Michael, you owe me, and I'll get it back myself. When I got home, it was so quiet that I could hear the clock ticking. I sat down at the table and spread my notebook out again. Date, Saturday incident. Michael said over time, but he was not in the company. Added. Emma confirmed she is 2 months pregnant. Mike knows. Plan to deal with marriage. My writing hands do not tremble. The calmer you are, the more you can take the initiative. After writing, I turned off the computer and made a cup of coffee. Coffee is bitter, but the bitter taste can make people's brain more clear. Just then, the sound of the key turning sounded. Michael is back. As soon as he entered the door, he changed into a relaxed expression. Today, the company's affairs are almost handled, so I will come back early. I looked up at him for a few seconds. It's really funny. When men lie, they always like to add meaningless words like almost, just, and by the way to their sentences. As if these words could help them smooth out the lies. Hard work. I smiled. I left you some fruit. He smiled and put his arms around me and gave me a kiss on the forehead. I didn't hide, but I didn't respond either. His breath is so close to me, but I only feel a sense of strangeness. What are you doing at home today? He asked casually. I sneer in my heart. If he said overtime didn't even appear under the camera at the door of the company, if his tiring job was actually discussing a new future with another woman, if his wife has become the character he wants to delete in each other's life script, then why am I telling him the truth? Watch TV. I replied lightly. By the way, tidy up your home. Mike nodded, his expression natural as if everything was normal. But I know that he is carefully testing. Because he sensed I was getting too quiet. What men fear most after betrayal is not that you cry or make trouble, but that you don't say anything. That means you may not have planned to keep him. It also means that his other retreat may be blocked. Sure enough, his next unnourished inquiry revealed his uneasiness. Did you go out today? I smiled. No. Why do you ask this?
No, nothing.
Ask casually. Ask casually? Was he worried about what ID run? Or did Emma call and tell him something? I do not expose, just understatement to say. You are not very tired recently? I'll make you some soup. Mike looked at me for a few seconds, as if to make sure I was really calm. However, he would never know that this calm was not ignorance, but the sea before the storm. The next day, Sunday, Michael suddenly offered to accompany me to the supermarket. Anyway, we have a rest today, just in time for the weekend, and the two of us to walk together. He pretended to be relaxed. I sneer in my heart. Afraid I'll meet Emma again? Or are you afraid I'll see something he can't control? Good. I promised very readily. Rare. We walked side by side into the largest supermarket chain in the city. He pushed the shopping cart, and I picked things slowly. The whole process, he behaved very normal to excessive. Can I have 2 portions of this yogurt you like? What to eat tonight? I'll do it. The weather has become cold recently. You should remember to wear more. If I knew nothing of his background, such concern might really be reassuring. But the more I acted like this, the more I could see the fear in his heart. I picked up a box of chicken soup and suddenly asked, the little moxa of your department? How have you been recently? Michael shook his hand and almost pushed the shopping cart to the next shelf. Her? Just let it be like that. The new one is not very familiar. Oh, I think she works hard. All right. He tried to laugh. His expression froze. Does she often work overtime? I follow the trend. Well, occasionally. Our department is very busy. Will she go to the company on weekends?
No way.
It should not. He talked faster and faster, like he was shutting down a dangerous conversation. I do not continue to press. I just need to push him into a corner a little bit, and he will show his flaws. And today he has begun to panic. Sunday night. After dinner, I washed the bowl and watched him sitting on the sofa playing with his cell phone. His screen brightness was low.
Habitually.
Not afraid of dazzling, but afraid of being seen by the people next to you. I dried my hands and stood beside him and said, I've taken a bath, you go first. Good. He got up with a smile and buckled his phone back on the table. I didn't say anything, but when he walked into the bathroom, I gently lifted the phone. There is no password. He never set a password on me, because he always thought I wouldn't look into it. I ordered the opening record. The top one is, Emma. Remarks there are no hearts and no emojis. Just a common name. Skilled like a name he had been accustomed to using countless times. Time is 3 this afternoon, 47. At that time, we were in the supermarket. The 2 minutes he ran to get the tissue. I click on the text message. There are deletions, but not completely deleted. I slowly slide down. Finally, I stopped in a text that I didn't have time to delete. Don't go out today. She was suspicious.
She.
It means me. I turn off my phone. In the bathroom, the water rattled down. He took a bath in it and had no idea what I just saw. I went to the balcony and opened the curtains. The night wind blew my hair, cold as a knife. It's a strange feeling. The heart is beating violently, but the whole person seems to be frozen. Michael, I'm not the man you think I am. I won't cry and beg you to stay. They don't make themselves a joke. You want to handle me? Want to get together? You want me to quit? Be prepared. I'll make you pay. At 11 o'clock at night, the bathroom lights went out, and he walked out. I lay on the bed and turned over. Sleepy? He asked. A bit. He lifted the covers and lay down beside me, putting his hand on my waist as usual. That hand, once a reassuring weight to me, is now like a cold snake. I held my disgust and breathed slowly. Sophia.
He spoke suddenly.
I opened my eyes. You these days. Is there something on your mind?
Coming. Tentative. No.
I said calmly. I'm fine. Really? I think you are a little different. I turned and looked at him in the dark. After marriage, people always change. I smiled. You should understand. He seemed to be choking on this sentence, neither laughing nor not laughing. After a moment, he gently hugged me. I just want you to be happy. I closed my eyes. If he really wanted me to be happy, he wouldn't have done those things. I clenched my fist in the dark. You think my silence represents ignorance?
No.
That was just a prelude to the storm. Tonight I memorized all the evidence. Tomorrow I'll start the layout. Michael, you owe me. It won't be just an explanation. It won't be just an apology. You owe me the whole future. I will take it back from you. The next morning, I headed downstairs to Michael's company. I took a deep breath and let myself sit in the quiet car for a whole minute until the rise and fall of my chest gradually calmed down. This is not the time to be emotional. Michael knows me so well that once I show up in an angry manner, he will instead flinch, perfunctory, and muddle the problem into a fog. But if I'm calm, perceptive, polite, instead he would panic. I turned on my phone and turned out the photo I just took it from hiding in the corner. He was too close to the intern, and his wrist seemed to accidentally touch the edge of her paper cup. Not hard evidence, but enough for me to judge that his borderline sense is disappearing. I locked the photos into a hidden folder and got up and walked into the building. The sales department on the 23rd floor looks bright in the afternoon sunshine from the floor-to-ceiling windows, but it is not lively. Many employees are busy in front of the computer, only a few chat at the printer. I deliberately lowered my footsteps and walked slowly along the open corridor on the outside. Through the glass partition, I saw Michael standing outside the conference room, holding information in his hand, as if waiting for someone. The intern Emma also came from the other direction. The moment the two saw each other, it was very different. Michael's shoulders came loose unconsciously, and Emma pursed her lips, her eyes flashing a rapid light. Is ambiguous. Not an illusion. I pulled my coat tight, pretended not to see their interaction, and continued in the direction of the front desk. When I walked to the front desk, the girl I met just now showed a warm smile again. Mrs. Stone, have you found Mr.? I nodded and my voice was calm. Not yet. I want to wait for him.
Of course you can.
Do I need to inform him? Not yet. I smiled slightly. I want to see if he is busy with his work. Without much thought, she nodded. I picked up a company brochure next to me and pretended to flip through it, only to observe Michael and Emma entering the conference room together. The moment the door closed, the paper rolled up slightly at my fingertips. 10 minutes later, the door of the conference room finally opened. Michael walked out first, looking slightly tired. Emma followed, and the two maintained a professional distance, but it still felt unnatural. I gently closed the brochure and stood up. Michael. He froze. When he turned his head, his eyes flashed with surprise and guilty, but he quickly pretended to be natural. Darling, why did you come to the company? I kept smiling in a gentle tone as if I had rehearsed it in advance. I wanted to surprise you. His Adam's apple moved. Emma was obviously frightened and bowed her head. Mr. Stone, I'll go back to my seat first. Michael gave a but did not look at her. I noticed he was trying to keep his distance. But that deliberate, in itself, is the most evidence of an abnormal situation. Did you eat lunch? I asked. Not yet. More meetings. He rubbed his eyebrows. I nodded and took a delicate little bag out of my bag. I brought you your favorite sandwich. He was stunned, as if he suddenly realized something. I seldom send things to the company in person. As I handed him the sandwich, I came slightly closer, so soft that he could almost only hear it. Come and see me after you eat. I'll wait for you in the cafe on the first floor. He froze there, trying to see something in my eyes, but found nothing. I gave him a gentle smile. Then turn around and leave. When I went downstairs, my heart beat faster again, but this time not because of the pain, but because of the power of calm. To know the truth, there is no need to make noise. You just need to make the other person think you trust him. Trust is the sharpest knife. The light in the cafe was soft, and I picked a window seat. From here you can see the walkway to the elevator. If Michael comes, I will see him first. If he's going to show up with anyone, I wouldn't miss it. I ordered a cup of hot cocoa and held it in my hands, making myself look like I was waiting for my husband at ease, not a detective watching everything. About 15 minutes later, Michael walked in. As soon as he saw me, his pace was obviously half a beat slower. I raised my hand and smiled at him. This way. He came over to sit down. His coat was not off. He was in a hurry to explain. Today's meeting was a bit.
Suddenly.
I had no idea before you came. I kept gentle. Of course, I wanted to surprise you. Michael breathed softly and seemed relieved. I pushed Coco a little towards him. You don't look very well. Are you too tired? Michael bowed his head and avoided my sight. The project has been under a lot of pressure recently. I saw it. My tone is gentle, but like a feather gently skimming the sharp place. Do you cooperate with interns? That. Emma? His body was stiff and his movements were almost undetectable. But I saw it. Michael looked up, pretending to be casual. She? Well, it's the new person in the department. I'll take her through the project process. I nodded gently, as if I had no doubt. She looks like she admires you. Michael tongue-lived, as if thinking about the meaning behind the words. Here comes the key. I don't force him to ask, but let him think about it himself. Men will resist when questioned. When surrounded by gentle uncertainty, you will expose yourself anxiously. He said, You? Do you see anything? I raised my eyes and put my tone lighter. When I went upstairs, you happened to be at the door of the conference room, quite close. I thought you were discussing information. Michael was breathing. I said it vaguely, but it was enough to remind him of every detail, afraid to show what he shouldn't have done. He quickly explained, "No, you must have misunderstood. She's got the report and I'm telling her." I reached down and gently pressed his hand, letting his words break in his throat. "Michael, I don't doubt you." My tone was steadier than he thought. "I just want to know your recent state." He froze. His guard began to loosen from that second. I gave him space to talk. "What do you think of her ability?" Michael frowned. "General, still need to grow." "Did you work well with her?" "It went well." This answer is too fast. I noticed that the tips of his ears were slightly red, a sign that he was nervous. Obviously, his state of the girl, not ordinary colleagues, so simple. But I remained calm and made him think I was just asking. I continued in a seemingly harmless direction. "Do you work overtime together?" "Occasionally." He dodged his eyes. "Will she give you trouble? Like relying too much on you?" Michael's eyes lifted as if he had been stabbed. "Why do you ask?" Coming. The phrase, "Why do you ask?" is evidence of his guilty conscience. I immediately chuckled. "I'm just curious. After all, you are her mentor, and young people will inevitably regard you as an example." He was obviously relieved, but the whole person began to sit still. "Explain that I asked about the point." I pretended to remember something and said softly, "The front desk said that you are usually very kind to new people. We'll take them to lunch, right?" There was a jerk in Michael's eyes. "She said that." He lowered his voice. I nodded.
Yeah, I thought she was talking about that.
"Emma?" He was silent. 5 seconds of silence. An innocent question, and he needs 5 seconds to organize the language. This is no longer an ordinary office interaction. He finally said, "She may have misunderstood. Me and Emma. Nothing special." He stressed nothing special. If it's really nothing, it should be said just ordinary colleagues. Language can never hide the heart. I gently took his hand and said, "Michael, I'm not here to question you." He looked up and looked at me with a little panic and a little guilt. "I just want you to be happy and don't want you to be under pressure alone." His breathing was completely messed up. I looked at him seriously. "If you are interested in certain people, certain things, feel uncomfortable, you can tell me." He must be circulating this sentence in his mind. It's Emma makes him uncomfortable, or I know he already has a tendency to cross the line. But I intentionally didn't point it out. This vague half-uncovering, on the contrary, made him more nervous. I gave him an exit. "Shall we go home?" Michael nodded. At that moment, he felt as relieved as if he had escaped from the interrogation. Michael kept his hand in his pocket as he led me away from the cafe, as if he didn't know whether to hold me or not. It's not what he used to be. The drive home was abnormally quiet. Even the advertisements sound harsh on the radio. I looked sideways at him. He looked ahead, his fingertips tapping on the steering wheel, not fast, but obviously absent-minded. The test is in effect. Now look how he messes up. After dinner, Michael went to the study to deal with the company's papers as usual. Only this time, he closed the door tighter than usual. I was flipping through a magazine in the living room, but I heard the faint vibration of my cell phone in the study. 3 times in a row. I quietly walked to the corridor and gently approached the door of the study. There was a slight murmuring sound under the door. It was Michael. "This is not a good time. Don't be too sensitive. My wife came to the company today." "No, I wouldn't do that." Then the voice was lowered, inaudible. After he finished the call, there was no movement for several seconds. I stood in the dark, my palms getting cold. He was clearly explaining to someone, but he didn't have the courage to say the name. I quickly turned and walked back to the living room to make myself look like I had just sat down. It took a few minutes for Michael to come out, his face a little heavy. "Why aren't you sleeping?" he asked. "Waiting for you." I looked up and smiled. Michael looked away unnaturally, as if he had been stabbed by the remark. I haven't taken the initiative to mention anything about the company these days. The calmer it is, the more it can make a man with secrets fidget. Sure enough, Michael looks like a different person. He used to throw his cell phone on the sofa at when he came home, but now he takes it with him wherever he goes. One day the phone vibrated, and he subconsciously hid. At that moment I knew who is putting pressure on him. He began to get up early to tidy his collar, change his shirt, and spray on the smell of the ancient dragon I smelled for the first time. I asked, "Have you changed your perfume?" He paused. "Oh, someone in the company said, 'Say this tastes good, I'll try it.'" "Is it Emma?" I asked calmly. Michael jerked his head. "Why are you always talking about her?" This is not defense, but fear. He was afraid I would know more. He used to say it in advance, no matter how busy he was. But these 3 days, he is a temporary message. I may be late today. The time is almost the same, 7:23 p.m., 7:21 p.m., 7:24 p.m. It's like it's sent after a regular meeting. I didn't expose it, but simply replied, "Okay." Calm enough to make him more afraid, to rest assured. On the 4th night, he rarely came home on time. Upon entering the door, he saw me sitting at the table where I had prepared a mild, home-cooked meal. He stopped, as if he didn't know if he should approach. I asked softly, "Don't you have to work overtime today?" Michael squeezed out a hard smile. "The meeting is canceled." "Oh," I nodded. "That's great." He said he was going to wash his hands, but he left his phone at the table. The screen lit up the moment I saw a few eye-catching words. "I can't wait for you today. Are you afraid to see me?" From Emma. Michael rushed back and grabbed the phone, moving so fast that he even knocked over a cup. Water spilled all over the floor. I looked up, and my tone was as gentle as a blade wrapped in silk. "Who sent it to you?" His face turned white in an instant. "Just work," I interrupted softly. "Michael, I didn't ask the content." I asked who. Silence. It looks like a rope drawn to the limit. He moved his lips and finally said the name.
Emma.
That moment, the cracks widened completely and turned into a bone-chilling chill. 20, for it's like it's sent after a regular meeting. I did not debunking, just back to the simple. Good. Calm enough to make him more afraid, to rest assured. On the 4th night, he rarely came home on time. Upon entering the door, he saw me sitting at the table where I had prepared a mild, home-cooked meal. He stopped, as if he didn't know if he should approach. I asked softly, "Don't you have to work overtime today?" Michael squeezed out a hard smile. "The meeting is canceled." "Oh," I nodded. "That's great." He said he was going to wash his hands, but he left his phone at the table. The screen lit up the moment I saw a few eye-catching words. "I can't wait for you today. Are you afraid to see me?" From Emma. Michael rushed back and grabbed the phone, moving so fast that he even knocked over a cup. Water spilled all over the ground. I looked up, and my tone was as gentle as a blade wrapped in silk. "Who sent it to you?" His face turned white in an instant. "Just work," I interrupted softly. "Michael, I didn't ask the content." I asked who is it. Silence. It looks like a rope drawn to the limit. He moved his lips and finally said the name. Emma. That moment, the cracks widened completely and turned into a bone-chilling chill. 20, for it's like it's sent after a regular meeting. I didn't expose it, but simply replied, "Okay." Calm enough to make him more afraid, to rest assured. On the 4th night, he rarely came home on time. Upon entering the door, he saw me sitting at the table where I had prepared a mild, home-cooked meal. He stopped, as if he didn't know if he should approach. I asked softly, "Don't you have to work overtime today?" Michael squeezed out a hard smile. "The meeting is canceled." "Oh," I nodded. "That's great." He said he was going to wash his hands, but he left his phone at the table. The screen lit up the moment I saw a few eye-catching words. "I can't wait for you today. Are you afraid to see me?" From Emma. Michael rushed back and grabbed the phone, moving so fast that he even knocked over a cup. Water spilled all over the floor. I looked up, and my tone was as gentle as a blade wrapped in silk. "Who sent it to you?" His face turned white in an instant. "Just work," I interrupted softly. "Michael, I didn't ask the content." I asked, "Who?" Silence. It looks like a rope drawn to the limit. He moved his lips and finally said the name. Emma. That moment, the cracks widened completely and turned into a bone-chilling chill.